viewers, welcome to PCA Embakasi Parish Online and yet another video on the IT Week series. I am Tony Mudomi, your host for today, and I am joined by a special guest. He has been in the Kenyan tech space for over 20 years and he is currently the CEO of Sybrin Kenya and is also the Regional Director of Sybrin East Africa. Mr. Joe Kiragu, welcome.
Thank you very much, Tony. And good evening, viewers. Welcome to this particular channel that we are running this particular week. We are having the IT Tech Week happening at PCA Embakasi Parish. So my name is Joe Kiragu. I'm the chair of the IT Media and Communication at PCA Embakasi Parish. I love the Lord and I'm passionate about technology. So going straight to the introduction question, Tony. Yes, I've been in the tech industry for many years, and I'd love to share some of the experiences that I've had over the years.
Thank you so much. So let's get straight into it. Joe, you have been in the industry for over 20 years. Can you share some of the most remarkable tech advancements you've seen in the Kenyan tech space?
Thank you. So I've seen quite a lot of growth in the tech space over the last 20 years, having worked in various sectors, ranging from telecommunication, aviation, internet registry, and now in the software industry for the last 15 years. So I've seen quite a lot of changes happening over those particular years. I'll just mention a few. Adoption of technology has really increased over the years when compared to back in the 2000s today. IT is an integral part of everything we do today. It's an integral part of our lives. It's an integral part of every sector that you talk about has an IT element to it. Back in the days, IT was just a support department. Today, it's become a core department in each and every business that you're doing. Technology has become more affordable compared to where we were many years ago, including gadgets, space, and all that. Just to give you an example of gadgets, and specifically phones, I bought my first GSM line back in 2002, and the line used to go for 2,500. How much does it go today? You just get it for free. The gadgets, even the phones, the basic featured phones that you would buy then. I remember my first phone was called the Sagem, and I bought it for 3,000 shillings. You struggle to raise that 3,000, but you really feel that you have a phone. Today, with that much, you can get a basic a smartphone. So a lot has changed over the years. Yes, there's been a lot of increase in internet connectivity and growth. Where we started, with connectivity that was slow speed, although we deemed it at first then. We've changed to that a lot. In the Kenya space, if I will talk about the demographics that we have at the moment, the Kenya internet penetration is about 41%, according to CA, Communication Authority data. We have about 22.71 million internet users as of January 2024. So you can see we've come to a big space in terms of connectivity of internet compared to the years back then in 2000. Social media and digital platform has become a thing of today. We've evolved from chatbots like MSN messengers, Yahoo Messenger, which was a thing for elite then. But today we have better platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all this, LinkedIn, and more social media that are available across the different sectors. And social media now has become a key driver of business, politics, and culture, communication, and even in marketing. So we're seeing a lot of change over the last 20 years.
Wow, that's very insightful. You've mentioned Sagem, and I have been privileged enough to see such phones, and which also segues to the next question. We have moved from phone booths to smartphones over the years. Do you miss phone booths? I'm sure you interacted with some of them. And also, how would you say the telecommunications industry has then evolved? Can you elaborate more on that, please?
Yeah. I've worked in the telecommunication industry also for a number of years, and there's been a lot of shift in some of the areas. One area I'll talk about is the digital shift, in broadband. We've transitioned from dial-up. I'm sure so many of the youth today don't know what dial-up is. Okay, so dial-up was the internet of things that then in the 2000s, where you will connect your PC with a modem and your phone line, the landline that we used to have, the copper wire going through the telecom then. So it used to be very prestigious to own a dial-up, which was 56 kbps. Okay, right now at your homes, what bandwidth do you have? You have 5 meg, minimum 10 meg, just at home, not even office. So 56 kbps used to be the internet that you'd use to receive your emails and actually browse for a few minutes. So we've moved a lot in terms of transitioning from dial-up to broadband today. In the 2000s, came other form of data communications like DSL. There was cable internet that came along as well. But now we're talking about fiber optics. Every home is now connecting with fiber optics. Yeah. You can see there's a lot of also input from the government as well to ensure that homes are connecting to fiber, towns are connecting to fiber. There's a lot of e-government involvement in ensuring fiber connectivity moves all over. Yeah, so we've moved a lot from dial-up to broadband. On the mobile space, we've also evolved a lot from the traditional, the booths that we used to have to the technology that we're having today. The fixed lines that we used to have, you used to have a copper line running from your exchange, and the exchanges used to be so big. Um, some of them used to occupy a whole house. So we moved from that to smaller units, faster connection. We're moving from the 2G to 5G now, our 4G. In the early 2000s, we started seeing 2G, 3G coming along that enabled email, video, and browsing, what you call triple play, starting to happen. But now with 5G, we are seeing more wireless technology. It's a big leap from 4G because it's faster. It's has got less latency. It's almost 100 times faster than your 4G. The latency is less than 1 millisecond. So you're seeing more applications running on 4G, more real-time application. On voice over IP, again, was something that really evolved over the years. When we had those booths, you'll queue in a booth to actually make a call with your coins dropping on the booth. Back in the villages where there used to be a booth in a shop, then you'll give that to your relatives in Nairobi to call you once in a while, and you'll queue in that particular booth, waiting for that call to come. I remember when I was in a campus, there were two booths in the two different campuses, and we'll queue there. And funny enough, we were cheeky sometimes to be able to know how to tap and call on the booths without coins. But we moved a lot from that. And over the years, we worked from those booths. I don't know how many remember seeing them. Okay, where you'll queue on the street to make a call. You go to a vendor who's got a phone. They say it's, let's say 10 bob per minute. You make sure you call very fast. You deliver your message very fast because the minutes are going. Today you have laxity. You have, minutes are cheaper. We moved from that. There was time when scratch card was all over. I don't know what's the last time you saw a Safaricom scratch out of 250. Yeah. So we've really evolved even on the communication side. Yeah. So we're now buying bundles which are cheaper. Now we have packages which suit you. You are somebody who wants to browse Zaidi or talk Zaidis, those kind of packages that suit the customers much more better. So the telecommunication industry has also evolved to be able to be more customer centric as opposed to just selling. Looking like just look at Safaricom, the green giant, so Safaricom has evolved over the years to just making its revenue from just data alone, from just voice alone. So the biggest revenue is coming now from data. Yeah, talking about internet, the biggest revenue is coming from financial institutions through financial transactions, M-Pesa. And now they're moving to the next place of e-commerce and all that. So diversification of these industries, the telecommunication industry, has happened over the years. So there's much more I can talk, but I think let me leave it there for now. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. You have talked about the telecommunications industry. Let's talk more about your level of experience in the banking industry. Um, if we could compare Kenya today versus 10 years ago, what would you say is the biggest difference in the banking industry and tech, with regards to tech? Sorry.
All right. Thanks. The banking industry is not exceptional, like any other industry that have revolutionized because of technology advancement and IT specifically. So the banking industry has undergone massive transformation, evolving from the traditional brick and mortar to now data-driven, AI-driven, mobile-first, and decentralized financial ecosystem. So it's really changed from the brick and mortar. Gone are the days when you see people queuing at at a banking hall. You know, I remember we used to have this joke about the member bank and how the queues would be long. So go today to the member bank and you'll be surprised how they've evolved over the years. It's one of the fast growing, bank in the region, if not in Africa right now in terms of digital adoption and digital transformation. So a lot of banks have moved with that, and I'm glad that as Sybrin where I work, that's our key mandate to be able to digitize, automate, and transform business of tomorrow using technology. And banking industry is our niche area, financial institution, largely banking and insurance sector. So examples I can give in banking that have really revolutionized over the years is internet banking. Back in the days, you had to go to the bank to be able to make that transaction, fill a slip, sign, and the teller would look at your signature, check, verify, pass it to back office, depending on the levels to be able to do the verification. So now with more advanced way of authenticating the users and identifying that you're the real users, internet banking is everywhere now. Internet banking, of course, definitely started with corporate banking, where the corporate companies, but now has moved to individual. Individual banking now doing more internet banking than the corporates. So at your fingerprint, at your laptop, at your tablet, you are able to transact, massive amount of money. You're able to do all your internet or all your banking needs from that. Mobile banking has also evolved a lot, and also moving to also featured phones. You don't have to have a smartphone to use mobile banking. USSD has enabled us to be able to do mobile banking from your featured phone, from your kabambe. You can be able to bank. You can be able to do all your banking applications from your kabambe. You don't require to have a smartphone. I think the ATMs that came, in the early 2000s and the early late 90s have also evolved, changed a lot. A lot of innovations. Today, you go to an ATM or a digital branch, you find it's not just cash dispensing for ATM. So you're able to deposit cash, you're able to do self-service where you're able to do all your services there, you're able to do as well as check deposit and also cardless transactions. So there are more features that have been added on a digital branch using the ATMs and also the kiosks that are able to even open an account end to end without involving any human element. You just do it automatically from the kiosk. Contactless payment and digital wallets have really picked up a lot. Tap and pay. Today you have your card. You don't have to swap like the way you used to do long time ago, and your magnetic strip is easy to duplicate. Came the PIN, and now we're talking about tap and pay. You can just NFI and all that. So you can just tap and pay. So it's becoming seamless, contactless kind of payment. Instant payment is one big thing that is happening in Kenya as well as in the world. And there's a lot of initiative happening in Africa, I would say, as far as instant payment is concerned. PesaLink is a classic example of what we're doing in Kenya. So PesaLink, you're able to transfer money from one bank to other within 40 seconds. So you don't have to go to the bank to fill your RTGS form to be able to transfer that money. So within 40 seconds, money moves from your account. Let's say you're banking with ABSA, I'm banking with KCB, and the money moves within 40 seconds, and I get the credit. Of course, the other initiatives that are coming up of most interesting ones. Recently, the central bank is coming up with a fast payment system. There's a lot of talk still on that. That's going to help to interconnect instant payment across the different financial sectors in Kenya, not just banks alone, including mobile network operators and fintechs as well. In the region, you'll say COMESA, as Business Council, has also an initiative on instant payment that is happening. So that's looking at the COMESA region. But when you look at the West African region, where you have the ECOWAS economic bloc, we have PAPS, which is the payment and settlement system, Pan-African payment and settlement system that is happening in the West as well. So there's a lot of initiative that is happening to ensure that you can move your transactions easily from one country to another within a few seconds. And that will enable a lot of business growth and all that. But most important, I can't stop without talking about is check truncation, because I'm very central to check truncation. So check truncation, began in this country in 2010, 2011 there. So we've been running that for quite a number of years. Kenya was one of the pioneers to run check truncation in Africa. I was part of the team that initiated that particular project at Central Bank and Kenya Bank Association. So check truncation is where traditionally you deliver your check at a branch. I give you a check, so you have to deliver that check to your bank, your branch. Then your bank would physically deliver the check to my bank. Then they verify whether that signature is right. They call me, did you use this check? Do all the background check. Then from there, the funds transfer. So that has changed over the years. And today, check clearing happens within what we call T+1. I give you a check today, and tomorrow you have the value. Okay. We moved from 7 days. It used to take 7 days for local checks. That is checked within the same town, or within Nairobi, and up-country checks up to 21 days. So that has changed a lot, and we have moved that to quite a short period because of the technology that has been put there. So when you deposit a check, there's a lot of digitization of the process of enhancing the check. I know there's a debate about the check is a dying payment instrument. But I have very interesting factors about Kenya. I think it's here to stay for the next 10 years because checks are used in Kenya for very interesting reasons because of the way our economic landscape is as compared to other areas. We are moving now to digital checks. So that's something that in the next maybe 3, 4 years or maximum 5 years, you'll see a lot of digital checks now come into place to replace the physical checks because of the cost of it.
Okay, this is turning out to be a nostalgia trip, and we tend to take for granted just how far we've come. Now, you've mentioned Sybrin, where you work, and it is a software company with roots all around the globe. Would you care to elaborate just how intensive the software industry growth has been?
Yeah, thank you, Tony. Yes, I'm in the software industry, and that software has, just like any other industry in the IT, software has also changed a lot from where we came back in the days to today. There's been a rise of web enterprise software solutions compared to where we were many years ago. Desktop applications like, for example, Photoshop, Microsoft Office dominated back in the day, but web applications like Google Docs and Gmail have gained traction over the years. We are seeing a lot of enterprise software like ERP, CRMs, and human resource management becoming essential part of business, SAPs and all that. Yeah, Salesforce, Oracle, financials, they are taking a central place in most businesses, including the SMEs. And why do I say the SMEs? There's been a lot of shift to software as a service, as opposed to the traditional licensing of software where you'll have to buy a software at a cost and pay annual license to it, which for a small SME is a big capital expenditure or big capex. So now software has moved to what you call software as a service. You pay per use, just like we have tokens today. You pay per use. So I only have 2 users, so I only need to pay for those 2 users. I only using this application this month, next month I don't want to use it. Then you only pay for what you're using. So software as a service has really taken place. There's been a lot of change also in cloud computing that has really changed a lot of how we do business, mobile application, and the whole element of DevOps. But on cloud computing, I'll say, we've moved from on-premise software to now software as a service. We also moved from on-premise hardware to cloud hosting. I don't have to physically buy a server that was, let's say, for $500,000. And I'm an SME. I can just lease that particular virtual server, from the cloud and use it when I want to use it and pay as per use, software as a service. So serverless computing, microservice architecture, replacing the traditional monolithic application has become real. Also very interesting in my space of software, and what we're doing right now is moving to a lot of low code platform. Low code platform is a platform that you can use to develop your applications as a novice user. You don't have to be a gig software developer to develop an application. You have drag and drop UI UX interface that you can be able to build your own application rapidly, and you have your prototype running within a few minutes, and from there you can deploy to your a real production environment to start using. So we are moving a lot to low code platform. So platform taking place as opposed to having you building your applications from scratch. So a lot is changing also in the software industry. Yeah.
Wow, that's great. Now, you've mentioned that you're a born again Christian, and we thank God for that because all this knowledge is going back to the church. As a seasoned tech expert, you have seen technology permeate through and into religious institutions. How would you say technology has changed how churches engage with their congregants?
Yeah, churches have changed, right? With event with COVID, when COVID came, a lot of churches adopted technology. But some of the churches started adopting technology much more earlier than that particular time. But I think most of the churches adopted technology during COVID. We've seen churches move now to online space, a lot of social media use in churches, including the physical church service using a lot of technology. You're doing your projections, you're doing your audio now more tech than it was before. There were those speakers that you used to have long time ago around, and they will make a lot of noise. So we moved to more advanced speakers that you're able to listen within the room without a lot of echoes. So even within the church space, there's a lot of advancement in audiovisual, in also the experience within the church, including even online booking of your space. That's happening. During COVID, some churches started that. A lot of interactions with your users online. Now we also have what you call the online church. There are some churches that have already started the online church because you have this community, or you have these congregants that don't physically come to the church, based maybe on the nature of their work, based on the nature of where they stay, and they get their nourishment through online church. So online church has become common. I remember back in the days, you'd want to worship over lunchtime, and you have to physically move to a place where you create space and do worshiping. Today, it's easier because you have your 1 hour, 2 hours, one hour break during lunchtime, and you just go online channels. I'll just go back to technology, to telecommunications, with the digital channels coming on board, digitization of broadcasting. It brought a lot of changes also within the churches. Before, we didn't have a lot of these media stations. So now we have massive media stations. You find every major major denomination, they have their own TV station, including our PCA. We have our CAC TV. So you see, most of them have uh, the TV stations that are able to reach out. So this came along with the digitization of the whole process. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, you have started talking about how church is more online. There are a lot of online gatherings than in-person gatherings. And we are now moving to a digital ministry space. And when did you not start noticing this shift? And where would you say the 21st century church is going?
Yeah, thank you. I think, like I said, during COVID, a lot of changes started happening then, and you started seeing churches adopting technology. Because traditionally, churches were very hesitant to adopt technology. It had to be physical. But with COVID, I think almost everybody went online. And after COVID, still a lot of churches are still maintained online because you still have a large community that is out there that still requires to use the online services. So where I see this happening, I think I'm seeing a lot of changes happening in that particular space. I'm seeing a situation where now the online church becomes a reality, because I think we are still shying away that it's not a reality, but it is a reality right now, that where we have a community that does not physically come to church, but feels part of that particular church, and does online service. Yeah.
Okay. Social media has also been a key innovative tool for these online churches. Yeah. How would you say the platforms of social media like WhatsApp, TikTok, YouTube have helped to change the faith-based content? Sorry.
Yeah, thank you. So, yeah, social media has helped reach out to more people. has helped us reach out to the congregants more easily in a manner they can understand. For example, today, if you have a youth, a large youth population in the church, and definitely youth are the biggest population in this country or in the world. So you're required to reach to them in a language that they can understand. So you have to be able to communicate them in their own language, in their own channels, in their own space. So churches cannot be left behind and saying that we don't want to take part in this in social media. So social media is a key element nowadays of worship. Okay, you are able to spread out the gospel through social media. Send out the message, send out communication. Send out messages of the gospel, whether it's preaching, whether it's conducting also prayer sessions and all that. Social media has become a key element of communication as well.
Okay, thank you. For church leaders hesitant to embrace digital tools, what would be your pitch to convince them to embrace tech in the church?
I think if change is happening, then you must change. You must be part of that particular change. If you don't change, then the change will happen and you lose out a lot. So change is inevitable and change is real. So they must be willing to accept that technology is here and technology is what is driving the world today. Like I said in my opening remarks, technology is in every sector, including the church. It's a central element of the church today. Um, like just any other organization where IT is just another support department. Even within the church, IT is a key element of the worship. So it's time also the leaders also realized and supported the IT ministry, supported the IT initiatives that are happening from the churches, because that's where we're moving to, and that's where the world is moving to. Everything is technology.
That's great. So, what are some of the challenges you would say that arise with the rapid technological advancements in Kenya?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge I would say at the moment, with this rapid change, of course, as change is happening, there are a lot of threats that are coming. And the biggest threat is cybersecurity and privacy. So there's increased number of cyber threats that have led to growth in cybersecurity solutions that have also innovated. Just like we normally see in the antivirus, somebody will make a virus, but somebody has to make the antivirus. So the same case, threats are coming, but the cyber security solutions are coming. I don't think we need to be afraid of that. That is the nature of how technology comes. But you have to be fast and be ahead of the game. Be ahead of the of those perpetrating cyber crimes and all that. Data breach is another thing that we have to talk about. Incidences of you need to have stronger security measures to ensure that data breaches are not there. I'm glad to say that now we have a proper data protection law in this country. We have data commissioners and all that. Office of the data protection officer. So we should take advantage of that and ensure that the law is protecting us as far as data breaches is concerned, but also ensuring that you're putting the right technology in place to ensure that you don't get those breaches. So privacy is, factor technology, end-to-end encryption, whether it's VPN, regulation is becoming crucial every day.
Okay. Thank you so much for that insight. What are your closing remarks?
All right, thanks, listeners. I think my closing remark is very simple. The tech space has advanced, or has evolved, unprecedented space. Pace. The pace has been very unprecedented over the years, with innovation in AI, cloud computing, fintechs, and more reshaping industries. The next 10 years will likely bring even greater transformation, especially within AI, quantum computing, and space tech leading changes that will be happening.
Okay, this has been a very informative session with Mr. Joe Kiragu. Thank you so much for making the time to sit with us. And this is PCA Embakasi Parish Online. Thank you, viewers, also for tuning in. Catch you in the next one. Bye.
Okay, bye bye.